I hope you slept well. So today we continue our exploration of aspects of the vegan lifestyle. We already saw quite a few. So today we're going to see from the yoga perspective what does yoga has anything to do with the vegan lifestyle. It turns out quite a lot. So let's discuss this today. So, yoga. What is yoga, etc. So, yoga has many meaning for many people, many different meanings. For some, it's like a physical exercise, like asanas, and that stays at that. For some, it's more a spiritual perspective, spiritual yoga. That is more linked to spirituality, to meditation, to bettering ourselves, and a clear spiritual practice. Then there are different kinds of way of practicing it, like bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, depending if one is more attracted to like selfless help, selfless being. And then, so bhakti yoga is like being devotional, like yoga through devotion, and jnana is more yoga through wisdom, through the mind stuff more. But in all, they are all basically related. One cannot have one without the other in some sense. So it depends how much emphasis one puts on one aspect of yoga. That one calls it in a different way. And then there's a lot about meditation. Meditation is a big part of yoga. And one of the main texts of traditional yoga is the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. It's a very short, like one could say, a book. It's like the religious book of yoga. It's not really religious, but it's kind of the Bible of practice of yoga. Maybe it's one of the earliest that is so full of wisdom. But it's very short. I think it's 196, 197 sutras, so very short utterings. That is believed by the great sage Patanjali, or is the his students. It's not really clear who wrote it exactly. But in any case, this Yoga Sutra of Patanjali really explains many things about meditation, about the different blissful states, samadhi, that one can get to, how to get there, and also how to practice it. Although it doesn't, it does provide some methods, but one cannot really, if one doesn't have a teacher, one would have a hard time understanding what's going on in there. And one of the main chapters is the second chapter, which is the chapter about practice. And this practice, there are many aspects to it. but one of the main part of it is the 8 limbs of Patanjali, what is called. Maybe you've heard it if you are into yoga. It's quite known. Now, if everybody really know what's in those 8 limbs and what we are supposed to do is maybe a different question. But yes, this is a very important part of the practice, and it contains asanas also. So the third aspect is asanas, and many people practice asanas in the sense of physical exercises. But traditionally, asanas is like the sitting position, sitting posture, and it was meant just to find a good posture to sit on and to be stable and comfortable. That's basically what Patanjali is talking about in the Yoga Sutras concerning asanas. So he didn't talk a lot about asanas, just 3 sutras. And yes, but the first 2 sutras are extremely important. It's the Yamas and the Niyamas. So the Yamas are like, the Yamas and the Niyamas are like the kind of the, more the Yamas are more like the do's and don'ts of yoga. Like the 5 precepts of Buddhism, or the 10 commandments, or any rules of any spiritual practice or religion. It is something similar to that. It's like how to behave with others. The niyamas are more like how to behave with ourselves. So that is the distinction. One is more about how we deal with the exterior, and the second one, niyamas, so the second limb, is more how we deal with ourselves. So there's nothing, that's special about it per se. In a way, we all know what we should do and what we shouldn't do. But sometimes we need some guidance like that to be sure. Maybe we forgot or we are not really doing it fully. And the yamas and the niyamas, they have some quite specific things that maybe are not necessarily present in other traditions, because it's more about the practice in yoga. Always practice. And it's it's like a meditative tradition, yoga, one could say. Of course, it's not a religion. Yoga can be practiced by any religion. It doesn't pretend to be a religion, but it has some code of conduct, one could say. And those are more, it's not really rules. It's not something that one must follow, but it is like strong recommendation. How we should live our life is part of this. So, and then what? Okay, we're not going to talk about all the 8 limbs today. Maybe in the future, but it would be more from a meditation perspective. But today, let's focus just on the yamas. There are 5 yamas, and we're going to see how they relate to the vegan lifestyle, basically. So it's like the rule of conduct. What is the relation? Unfortunately, this is not talked a lot in like yoga classes or in yoga studios. I think it's actually almost never talked about, or never, which is a big pity, because it's the foundation of yoga. Without it, I would not say that yoga has no meaning, but from a traditional perspective, it's extremely important to um, to learn about it and to try to follow it as much as possible, for a yogi at least, for everybody. This is not just for yoga or yogis, it's general rules for, one could say, a rule of conduct for humanity. Um, yes. So what are the five yamas? They are like ahimsa, that's the first one, which means non-violence, basically. Non-violence, not only in deeds, but also in words and in thoughts. Extremely important. Then the second one is satya, so to like being a truthful person, not telling lies as much as possible. Third one is asteya, not stealing, not taking what is not ours. Fourth one is brahmacharya, which can be defined in several ways, traditionally or non-traditionally. It's like brahmacharya means like moving in the way of Brahma or Brahman, or be a pure person, use our energy correctly. Traditionally, it also meant like being a chaste person, if that was for monks, for example. Or for lay person, it's more like not committing adultery, and respecting life in general, and being a pure-minded being. And finally, there is aparigraha, which means non-possessiveness, and that's fairly specific to the yoga system, but I don't think any other tradition has that like request, that idea, that lifestyle embedded into the rules of conduct. And what does it mean? It means like not taking more than we need, not having more than we need. Like if it's kind of like the modern day word for it would be minimalism, basically. It's like not having more than the planet can sustain. So many of us have a lot more clothes than we really need. We can have even in the hundreds of clothes, but in reality, we just need just maybe three, and that's it. But it's possessiveness. We try to possess as much as possible, not only clothes, but any material possession. One could say even like possessing, if one like is married, then one is like possessing the other person. It's like the other person belongs to us in some sense. If the other person is talking with another person, then maybe we will get very jealous. And that's also very, very bad. So non-possessiveness is also, I mean, maybe it's mostly for the possession, but it's also in a more general term, not to possess things, not to possess people, not to believe that we possess people. It's also a freedom. So it can be understood in different ways. So that's why it's in the Yamas, because it's not just possession, but also when we have possession, it means somebody needed to create those clothes. And if we have like 100 clothes and 97 that we never use, it's a big waste and a pity, because those 97 clothes could be maybe used for by people who don't have enough money, and so who don't have any money, and then it's a pity. It's like we possess something that should be for used for others. So it's kind of stealing, but in a subtle way, yes. But yeah, I mean, we are all like we live in a world of materialism. So we often buy things without thinking too much, without mindfulness, and then once we have it, we don't do anything about it. I mean, yeah, me included. Sometimes I bought things, and once I had it, I almost never used it, and that's a pity. And we should do something about it. For example, if we have too many clothes, that's one of the challenge for this 40 days, like peace and compassion challenge, is to gather one piece of clothes, one clean piece of clothes every single day, and at the end of the day, at the end of the challenge, to give those 40 clothes to an association for poor people or homeless. And that would be wonderful to help us share important things with other people who really need it, much more than we do. And yeah, and also for us to help us to kind of simplify our life. So maybe I will make one presentation about minimalism, because I'm a big fan of it. It's a wonderful lifestyle. Minimalism is also very much like linked to the vegan lifestyle also. If one look at it from like a wisdom perspective, they are very much related. But back to the 5 yamas. So now we're going to see how the vegan lifestyle really is embedded by those 5 yamas, and why we really should be vegans. At least as a yogis, as everyone for me, but for yogis, those are like the main reasons. There is a wonderful book by a wonderful lady, one of the founders of Jivamukti. Jivamukti is like a yoga style that is very much. It's a bit different than the usual styles, in that it embedded kindness and compassion into the path, and it includes the vegan lifestyle also, which is quite unique in the yoga styles, which is a wonderful thing. So one of the founders, Sharon Gannon, she wrote a wonderful book. It's called, I think, Yoga and Veganism, the Diet of Enlightenment. I put it in the note of this live, and there you can find a link to Amazon to check out the book if you wish, if that's interest you. And in there she talks about exactly that, how the 5 yamas are related to the vegan lifestyle. Not only the first, not only the ahimsa. Before I read this book, in my mind, ahimsa is enough, like non-violence. That's a good enough reason, and that's for me was the main reason for being vegan. I mean, from a yoga like a theory. But then she opened my eyes to this idea that actually no, not only ahimsa but all the 5 yamas are related to that. And it's a wonderful way of seeing things. And indeed, she's completely right. As we are going to discuss a bit in this lecture. So let's pass to next slide. So this is what we discussed. What are the yamas? Ahimsa, Satya, Steya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha. And all 5 are related very much to the vegan lifestyle, as we talked about already. So let's pass to our first yama, which is ahimsa. So yeah, this is one of the most fundamental principles of yoga. It relates to all the 3 aspects, so to thoughts, words, and action or deeds. So we need to be non-violent in the way we talk, in the way we think, and in the way we act. And ahimsa is a super important concept. I mean, not only in yoga, but in all religions, all traditional paths. But yeah, in the Eastern one, especially, like in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in Jainism, the ahimsa is one of the main aspect of it, especially maybe Jainism. Jainism took it very much to heart. It's one of the main tenets of their faith, and they do everything in their power to reduce suffering to all beings, even those that we do not see. Even insects, they protect them. Even invisible beings, they try to protect. So it's quite amazing. But at the same time, unfortunately, in Jainism, not all are vegan or understand why they should be vegan. Many do, because there are many giants, there are many vegan giants, and they try to enlighten people through workshops or whatnot. Why giants should be vegans, and why the dairy industry, especially, is one of the worst industries in the world. It is at least as harmful to the animals than the animal agriculture in general, and it may be even more abusive and more violent. Although not many people are aware of it, it's not like an ideal animals, cows in the farm, and they are happy to give milk to humans, or humans comes and both smile. That's just a fantasy. That's not reality. So yeah, so it's in many ways meat, dairy, and fish also, the fish industry. They are all terrible industries, I'm sorry to say, or not so. So ahimsa is really very important, non-violence. Many great persons, beings from the world were non-violent, like Jesus Christ. It is believed that Jesus Christ was at the very least vegetarian. Was he vegan? I don't know, but he was at the very least. There was no vegan word back then, and it was a very different world. But he was most certainly at the very least a vegetarian. In some texts that were found later on, we see some text that apparently he said, I don't know, true or not, but it sounds like he, like him, and he was very, very strongly saying that we should not eat meat, flesh. So that's for Jesus Christ, and then we have like a Mahatma Gandhi in India, who really embodied non-violence. He made a lot of protests to help the India at the time of when England ruled over India, and then he silently led a revolution, but in complete non-violence. He led non-violent protests, he suffered quite a lot. But he was an embodiment of ahimsa and also of truth. So he always said the truth. He always was non-violent as much as possible. And so all over the world, there are many non-violent people, like Buddha, the great Buddha, Leonardo da Vinci, the great artist of the Renaissance. He was an unbelievably smart, wise artist. He was also a scientist. He was a doctor. He was a bit of everything. And he loved animals very much. He protected them. When he saw birds in cages in the market, he bought them in the cage, and then he opened them in the forest for them to escape. To set them free. How many people do that? Not many. So that is a wonderful thing. He also said that one day humanity will rise so that it will consider the killing of an animal as much as the killing of a human. We are not yet there, unfortunately, even though we are many hundreds of years after he passed away. But he's a prophetic vision, and I'm sure, I hope at least, that one day that will happen, and that will be a wonderful day for all of mankind and all of the world and all the animals. So ahimsa is, of course, that is quite self-evident that eating animal food is linked to violence. Animals don't want to die. The cows, they don't want to die. The pigs don't want to die. They want to be free and happy. But when they go to the slaughterhouses, they are killed, and not always very easily, and it may take a long time for them to die, and they die in great agony, in so much agony. And when we eat that meat, we also eat that agony. We don't realize it, but we eat that agony. So if we feel sad and we don't know why, possibly it's what we eat. And and it's so easy to stop it. This unnecessary violence towards all animals. Not only land animals, but fishes also. We kill trillions of fish every single year. How is that possible? We believe fish is like a plant that we can just pluck out of the sea and eat. But fish are not plants. Fish are sentient beings, fully sentient beings with feelings, with children's, and yeah, they have eyes, they have mouth, they've like hands, they move. Okay, they look different than us. That doesn't mean we should not care for them and help and protect them. And yeah, and we are destroying the oceans. That's another aspect through it. And we also kill so-called byproducts, hundreds of thousands of byproducts, which are like turtles, dolphins, whales that people don't want to catch necessarily, but they do catch them because they have very big nets, gigantic nets, and they catch everything in between. And they also destroy the reef and the corals. It's a true, it's very bad. And it's so easy to not consume fish. Even insects, nowadays, I go to my supermarket and I see insects bar. How is that possible? I mean, insects, they are also sentient, fully living beings with great intelligence. In some sense, possibly even greater than ours. And yeah, we kill them by the millions just for a bar of kind of like maybe mixed with chocolate. Yeah. We live in an upside world, but this will change. I hope soon. We have no choice. So yeah, so this is the violence towards animals, and also when we say harsh words to humans, also. I mean, we are violent to humans also, between humans, of course. All the wars, what we do is terrible. Things that we really do not have to do. It's really not necessary to violent between humans and humans, to go and invade an innocent country just for some personal gain. Why? Why do that? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and so many wars for land in this during history. Sometimes it's good to study history, but the thing is, it seems we don't learn from history. Not much, at least. And yeah, and there's also the violence between in words, that when we talk, we should be really very gentle and positive and kind and compassionate, and understand the other person's perspective, not react too much with anger, with jealousy, with envy. Being happy when people are happy, be happy when animals are happy. So yes, so non-violence is very good. Then yeah, as we said, ahimsa extends in widening circles. So also related to the vegan lifestyle, we are protecting workers, because workers in slaughterhouses, they hate their job. It's one of the most dangerous job, and leads to violence around that place and to them and to their mind. So we don't, if we don't participate in that, then we are helping those workers. So they will be given, they find something less violent to do, more productive, more kind. I'm not saying it's their fault, of course. As we discussed in the past, many of them don't have any choice but to work there for any number of the reasons. But if there are no slaughterhouses, then the government will provide them something better. Like one, as I said, there is one kind of like McDonald's, but a vegan version. I think maybe it's called Mr. Charlie in the US. It's a wonderful organization who employs many ex-convicts, and I think that's wonderful. And so it's really a social movement. Plus, they provide the vegan meals, so it's non-violence. So it's all coming together. Then Ahimsa also protects the communities. So as we said also in the past, when there are many poor communities who live next to farms, factory farms or farms, and they have to suffer so much from illnesses, sicknesses, from the smell, terrible smell, and whatnot. And then we are also honoring our bodies, because eating plant-based diet is much more nourishing to our bodies. Our bodies are meant for plant-based, not for meat, not for fish, not for eggs, not for dairy. Our body is meant for whole food, plant-based. This is what we are attracted to. So it's non-violence toward ourselves also, toward our own bodies. Because when we eat animal-based food, it's filled with inflammations to our body. I mean, it creates a lot of inflammations, which leads to a lot of suffering, and it doesn't have any fiber, so it leads to constipation, and all this thing which is putrid in our own colon for a long time, and it feeds the wrong microbiome, and yeah, it's something that we should avoid. Then there's the truthfulness linked to the vegan lifestyle, because all the farms, all the slaughterhouses, many of them, they hide what they do. If we knew what happens in there, we would probably be at the very least vegetarians, if not vegans. If we knew what happens in dairy farms, we would probably be vegans. And yeah, there are many documentaries that we should watch to know what happens. And that's why it's truthfulness, in the sense that that the animal agriculture is hiding the truth as much as possible in so many different ways. And also giving lies about veganism or the plant-based, so that people will eat their product. It's all about money and power. And we should really know it. They said that if slaughterhouses had windows, everybody would be at the very least vegetarians, if not vegans. But unfortunately, slaughterhouses do not have transparent walls. But I think they should. Most surely they should. But everybody would complain around, I'm sure. The entire community would complain that they don't want to see this. How can they show this? And there are children passing by and seeing this. No, that's not okay. But if it's not okay, then why do we do it? Why slaughterhouses exist in the first place? Doesn't make any sense. It's kind of a dream that we live in a dream, and we don't want to wake up to reality. But we definitely should. We should. We should wake up. And truthfulness also for ourselves. Are we truthful with ourselves? Those many people do not wish to know what's happened in slaughterhouse. So in that sense, that's the untruthfulness. We close our eyes and don't want to see what's happening. So that's not truthfulness. And if we don't want to see it, then why do we contribute to it? Our money should be contributed. We don't have full choice about what we do with our money because a lot of it goes to taxes. And the government is doing not necessarily good things with it. And they help a lot the animal agriculture. I'm not saying farmers should not be helped, but it's more they should be helped to pass to a plant-based lifestyle. In that way, the help should be provided. So I'm not for taking away the job of the farmers, but rather to change their job into a more compassionate and kind one. Basically. So next, non-stealing, which means not taking what is not ours. And that is, we are stealing so much from the animals. We steal their freedom. We put them in cages. That's one of the worst things that we can do. Imagine if we were in cage, like 24 hours at 24, just eating so that we can get fat, and then we for our flesh, for somebody to eat our flesh. That's like a horror movie. It would be terrible, wouldn't it? They could make movies like that. I'm quite sure it would probably be very hard. Those who love horrors, maybe they would like those kind of movies. But it's terrible, and yet we do it for billions of animals every single year. Not only land animals, even like crabs from the oceans that we see sometimes in some restaurants. They put them in water so that everybody can see that they are fresh, in quotation. And then to kill them, they put them alive in the boiling water. I don't know what to say to that. So that is stealing one's autonomy, stealing their freedom. So simple. Everybody loves freedom. Why do we take them away from them? And not only that, but also for the dairies. Not many people are aware or think about it, that actually all the mammals must give birth in order to give milk. It's not that they give milk and so-called naturally, and they just cows appears and then we can take their milk and that's it. No, they must be pregnant. How are they pregnant? Mostly not naturally, but through so-called artificial insemination, which is atrocious. We steal the cows' freedom to reproduce naturally, and that is unbelievable. That is like a woman or a female abuse, and yeah, and I don't know if I can say especially women should be appalled from that, but I mean women and men, but women, it's like a woman circle. So women should think about it very deeply. Some people go vegan after giving birth themselves, and then thinking about this question, and then they light bulb around their above their head, and then oh no, I cannot do it. Like why do I do it to cows, and not only cows, goats, horses. There's like goat milk, horse milk, and whatnot milk. And also we take the freedom, artificially inseminate them, but then when the baby is born, then it will not be good profit for the farm if the baby remains with her mother, and then so just after immediately, on maybe hours after they are born, they are taken away from the mother who cries for a long time, for weeks. She cries. She's very like unstable. She tries to run after the car that take their babies. But yeah, she cannot do anything. Unfortunately, she cannot speak. I mean, not in the language that the humans understand. Some understand, most don't. And yeah, she cannot protect herself. She doesn't have like humans. If somebody comes and like wants to harm us, we can protect ourselves. I mean, not always, but we can at least run away. But those animals, they cannot do anything. They are basically completely defenseless. So why do we hurt defenseless beings? It doesn't make any sense at all. And yeah, people are not aware of it. Like, people are just drinking their milk of the day, of the morning, with their coffee, or the cheese. They love cheese on pizza, or butter on their bread, but behind it is an unbelievable suffering of those beautiful mammals, beautiful animals giving birth. I mean, giving birth first, it was not natural, but okay, they have their babies, then the babies needs to stay with the mother. That's common sense. So yeah, I believe nobody should drink milk. Milk is not natural. Cow's milk, I mean, is not natural. Cow's milk is for the cow's babies, and human's milk is for the human's babies. That's how nature made it. We are the only species that drinks milk from another species. And even after we have weaned, when we do not need any more milk. We still drink milk, and from another species. So it's double yummy, double issue. And yeah, no reason for it. So for many people, this is like news. They don't think about it, especially the dairy. But once we know it, we cannot unlearn, and we should not unlearn. We should just replace milk with plant-based milk. Of course, not for babies. Babies should have human's milk. That is what it's made of. They should not have plant-based milk. And cheeses, there are so many vegan cheeses nowadays. One can have vegan pizzas. And there's even also vegan butters. So they are all amazing. And the quality is just amazing. And yeah, And cheese is especially is very problematic because it's like an addiction. People often say that they can go like vegetarian or vegan, but except for the for cheese. I mean that's normal because the cheese has I think it's called casein, something that is very addictive. And the idea, I believe, is for the milk of the cows. They have this component in order for the baby not to run away, so to be attracted to the milk of their mothers. So it's like a natural nature defense. But since we abused this the old system, and the cheese is like very concentrated milk, so it's even worse than dairy for the addiction part. But we don't need it. We can easily use vegan cheese again. Yeah. So that next is Brahmacharya. Yes, Brahmacharya. So we talked about it a bit earlier, that it is Brahmacharya means like walking in purity and divine alignment. So walking in the way of Brahma or Brahman, the supreme divine creator or creation. And it is can be seen in several ways, like the purity of our being, that being as pure as possible, purity of intention, so desire without harm, and simplicity and coherence. And then when we eat food that is filled with purity, like plant-based food, then we will feel amazing. And also traditionally, so as I said, Brahmacharya was kind of meant like chastity, especially for monks and nuns, and then but this was it could be seen in a different way later, because not everybody who practice yoga are monks or nuns, and so it's more like being like not committing adultery, for example, being a chaste person, and what we do to animals, especially the dairy animals, when they are artificially inseminated, they are not given the choice of reproduction by themselves. So with their species males, and so that is very impure, and that goes against like Brahmacharya. Of course, its purity is how it relates to other beings. So not giving the freedom for other beings to be like in nature, again, to reproduce by themselves. And not only the female like animals, mammals are abused, but also the males one, because they need the whatever is needed in order for inseminate. So it's pretty horrific. It's like an horror movie, really. And again, we are not aware of it, because everything is behind closed doors, and we also don't want to be aware of it, because which is in a way natural, because it's so unbelievably far-fetched that we cannot believe such things happen, and we don't want to see it. We just want to enjoy our dairy, cow's dairy, or cheeses or butter. We don't want to think of body, what goes on behind the scene, but we should, because it's like an horror movie, you know. It's worse than an horror movie. Even horror movies are not that bad, but this one is terrible, and it's made by humans all over the world. You can imagine, like, we have people eating and being happy and everything, and like there's maybe just a veil, and then if you open the veil, then we see the truth about what's happened behind it. And it's like maybe somebody's looking in both sides, like looking in the how people do and how the reality, what happens behind the scene. It's like a complete paradox. And I mean, for many people, it's like the first time. So once one learns it, then maybe it's a good time to act upon it, and then to ideally to go vegan. And one can do it in steps, like first maybe going vegetarian and then vegan, or going all the way vegan immediately. Yeah, and reflect on that. Just reflect on that. It's very important to reflect on that. Not just to hear it once, but maybe in a week or two to reflect on that again. Is it true? Is it what you hear in this presentation? Can it be true? Check it out in documentaries. There are so many documentaries that talks about it. Yeah, and let's open our eyes and wake up from this dream. Then there is the aparigraha. So as we talked about it a bit before, it's non-possessiveness. It's a lot of it is about simplicity. So being living a simple life and not possessing things. So when we possess animals, like mankind does, that's going against non-possessiveness. Doesn't matter for dairy or meat or fish or any of the animal agriculture things they do. We believe that that animals are made like for us, and that we dominate them, and we are like dictators to them. But we can see in history when it's like a dictator in the humans realm, then it's terrible for the citizens. Like dictatorships, they're like one person who dictate everything to others what to do, and often it's not to the advantage of the other subjects. Their subject is like their possession, one could say. And yeah, and if somebody doesn't believe in what they do or goes against them, then they are repressed or go to prison. And that is a bit what we do to animals all over the world, and we agree with it. That's the worst part. So we possess animals which do not wish to be possessed. They want. I mean, all animals want freedom. They want to be happy. They want to be joyful. They want to be peaceful, blissful. They want to raise their families and just have fun. They also have fun. We shouldn't think that animals don't have fun. They do. They play with each other. And they love each other. We see animals like couples. Sometimes they are very close. Even there are some who are couples for lives. And if one dies, the other one is like very, very sad. So yes, so non-possessiveness is very important. It's respect to all beings, really. Um, yeah. So we should not own anything. I mean, we should own only what we really need, material-wise. But we should certainly not own animals who don't want to be owned. And maybe except for dogs and cats, no animal wants to be owned. The wild animals, and supposed to be wild animals, who live in nature. That's their home. Their home is nature, not on our plates. So yes, so yoga is, again, it's not a rule or something like rigid. It's more about the practice of awareness, being aware of what happens around us, seeing the truth as it is. And we saw that there are 5 aspects to yama: ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. And yeah, and this is and those are very important, and they are very much related to the vegan lifestyle and to compassion, animal rights. And yeah, as the saying goes, we should not yoga does not end when we roll out the mats, but it should go all day long. Yoga is not just a physical exercise, as you just saw. It's so we said that there are 8 limbs of practice. I mean, that's the traditional way of seeing. And first one is yamas, and that is the foundation. We don't want to build a house on bad foundation because you just collapse. There's no point in building a house on a bad foundation. It's even dangerous. So that's why if we practice yoga, at least from a spiritual perspective, if we really truly practice yoga as yoga, then we should absolutely reflect on that. Yes. Yeah, so that is the idea. So our food, what we eat, should be aligned with our values and compassion, and it should become a habit, something that we just do without even thinking. I mean, that is like natural. We never think about. There's no temptation. There's no willpower needed to be vegan after some time. It's just a natural extension of ourselves, and yeah, it depends why one goes vegan, but after sometimes many people go vegan for health reasons, like for diminishing the bad cholesterol and feeling better, not having constipation or any other issue. But then after some times they discover that there are more deeper meanings to that, and then they watch documentaries especially, and then they understand that it's not only about health, but it's one could say it's mostly about the animals themselves, about freedom for them, about animal rights. And that's why we are vegans. And also, it's not only about food, it's also about, all the so-called byproducts, which are not necessarily byproducts, like leather, wool, and other things, even also honey. But maybe we'll discuss also why honey should be avoided at all costs also. Honey is not vegan. There are vegan honeys that are not made by bees, but they taste like honey. But yeah, honey is also a terrible abuse of nature, of bees. Mankind is very good at that, unfortunately, for now. It will change, but for now it is. and we should be wise to choose what is wise, basically, to choose what is right, to choose what our heart really wishes to choose, not to be um, not to be influenced by society. For all the bad things. So society, in a way, forces us or pushes us to do certain things, but we rarely listen to our own heart. But sometimes it's good to go against society values, because society values are not necessarily universal compassion values. And even our families, most of our families are not vegans or even vegetarians. I was not born in a vegan family or vegetarian. So, and that is a big influence on how we live. And if one goes then vegan, then the family can revolt and not accept it and makes scenes and whatnot. But if one is strong enough, one will keep that, and then the family will slowly understand and change, and then they themselves often switch to, if not a vegan lifestyle, to at least to a vegetarian lifestyle, or much less meat, or something like that. So people around us are very much influenced by what we do, and especially if we are very strong and very compassionate and kind, and people see that why we do it, and they see how kind we are to other people and beings and animals, then they themselves cannot but be influenced in a positive way. Maybe not all the way, but at least some way, and that's already a good thing. Um, so that was the presentation for today. So, as the saying goes in yoga, namaste, and thank you for listening. That was a long presentation, but I wanted to discuss it more in depth because it's very important. So, as I said, there's the book of Sharon Gannon, which is amazing. You can buy it on Kindle, and it's a good read. It will open our eyes when we read it. I would highly recommend it. So yes, so let's now go to our daily daily practice. So yeah, since we talked for quite a long time, like more than an hour, let's have like 5 minute break, then we come back. Okay, so let's start the actual practice. So let's start with the prayer, the morning prayer. So just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will show gratitude for my many blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to all living beings. May today be a joyful, peaceful, blissful, and magical day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy and free. And may our thoughts, words, and deeds contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace to all of nature. Peace to all living beings, all humans, all animals. And finally, peace to ourselves, to our own mind. Om. So let's move to the gratefulness part, where we are grateful for anything what we should be grateful for. You know better, you decide. So let's do this practice for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So again, it's just being grateful for our teachers, for our families, for our parents, our bed, our clothes, our food, our colleagues, our work, anything that you can think of. The more we do it, the more we can think about things to be grateful for. Like thieves, that we have thieves, that we can see, that so many things. So let's do that for 4 to 5 minutes. So let's move to the relaxation part of it, which is we will continue doing for now the 31 points. Like yesterday, we will do it once together, and then you can do it once on your own. So when we focus on those 31 points on the body, we need to be very concentrated, one-pointed, concentrated. Try to not follow any thoughts that come. Just if you have any thoughts, return to those points. Those are the points of concentration in this practice. So it's kind of meditation. Yeah, and you can imagine if you use like a blue light or a blue star at those spaces, and then this blue star can travel wherever it goes. Or you just focus on the space without any visualization. It's as you feel best. So let's do that. So you can do it if you want lying down or sitting up. And when you do it on your own, don't take more like 2-3 seconds per point. So first, find a relaxed posture. Do a rapid body scan to see if any tensions anywhere in the body, like the shoulders or the abdomen or the face or the eyes. Just relax them. Take some deep breath. And let's start. Bring all your awareness to the space between the eyebrows. The pit of the throat. The right shoulder. Right elbow. Right knee. Tip of the right thumb. Tip of the index finger. Middle finger. Ring finger. And little finger. Back to the right wrist. Right elbow. Right shoulder. Pit of the throat. Left shoulder. Left elbow. Left wrist. Tip of the left thumb. Tip of the index finger. Middle finger. Ring finger. And little finger. Back to the left wrist. Left elbow. Left shoulder. Pit of the throat. The middle of the chest. The right chest. The middle of the chest. The left chest. And back to the middle of the chest. And relax. And now do it one more time by yourself. Okay, so now we move to pranayama. So again, we do similar as last time. And the idea is that way you have like a clear practice if you want to do it on your own. It's very easy practice, but quite effective. We will modify it a bit, like on the 11th session. But for now, let's do that. So we do a bit of breath awareness. Again, a breath is we should uh, breathe diaphragmatically, so the shoulders, chest should be completely relaxed, and the diaphragm should just very easily expand, and the belly should expand very easily. And it should be as silent as possible. We try to minimize or even eliminate all the pauses at the top and the bottom. So between inhalation, exhalation, exhalation, inhalation, but not in an abrupt way. So it's still in a smooth way. And then we try to eliminate the jerks. So it's not like when we breathe in very, very smoothly, and breathe out very, very smoothly. So no like breathing in, stop, in, stop, and so on. One could realize, notice that when that happens, usually it's like the thoughts come to our mind, and then like we have some kind of like a jerk. So if we try to make it as smooth as possible, then our mind also will be calm. And yeah, we try to breathe in from the nose as much as possible, unless we have some issues. Breathing in and out from the nose, so not from the mouth. So that's the natural instrument to breathe. The mouth is for eating, the nose is for breathing. So yeah, and we're going to start with 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out for a couple of minutes. If that is too much, then you can do 2 seconds in and out. But if you can 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out, that's good. So let's do that. So let's do now the 2 seconds in and 4 seconds out. So inhale for 2 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds. Again, for the same with the same ideas about the breath. Yeah, I realized that we didn't do the physical part. If you want, you can do just a couple of physical stretching now, just to stretch the body. Normally, it should be done in the beginning before relaxation, but okay. Yeah, so if you want, you can just do stretching 1 or 2 minutes, and then we start again. Okay, so let's do the next pranayama, which is Nadi Shodhanam, balancing of the right and the left side of our energetic system. It is one of the most important practice in pranayama. Not necessarily this exact one, but there are some variants of that also. So we are going to continue with the first pattern so that we really get it very well. Then we will pass to the second one, starting on the 11th session. So let's do it one time together, like one round. So we're going to do it for 3 rounds. So one round together, and then you'll do 3 rounds on your own. So go Vishnu Mudra. Bend the index and middle. Use the thumb and the ring to block right or left. And yeah, so we exhale and inhale from right or left on with a certain pattern. The pattern is, so we can more or less choose which one we want to start with. Imagine we want to start with the left, so it's like we always start with exhale when we end with inhale. So it's like exhale, then we switch, inhale, switch, exhale, switch, inhale, switch, exhale, switch, inhale. Then exhale from the same, switch, inhale, switch, exhale, switch, inhale, switch, exhale, switch, inhale. So in total, it's 6 inhalation, 6 exhalation. Yeah, so let's do it together. So bring your Vishnu Mudra, then inhale, exhale. Inhale to start. Block right, exhale from left. Switch, inhale. Switch, exhale. Switch, inhale. Switch, exhale. Switch, inhale. Exhale from same. Switch, inhale. Switch, exhale. switch inhale, switch exhale, and switch inhale. That is one round. So we are going to do it. So we're going to do 3 rounds. So first time, if we started from the left, and then we do everything. Second time, we start from the right, we do everything. And third time, we go back to the left and we do everything. Yeah. So let's do this. So I hope you all finished. So let's just do one more pranayama called the Brahmari, which is like making like a sound like like inhaling, then just making this noise, which makes like a nice vibration in the torso and on this area. It's very relaxing to the nervous system, to the it invites the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's a very good practice just to calm us down. And it's extremely easy. Just inhale, When you exhale, you make like the noise of like a bee. Mm. And let's just do that for a couple of minutes. So let's do it together first. Inhale, then start. And do it at your own pace. And relax. Notice how you feel. Does it make any difference? Do you feel tingling? So let's move now to the self-dialogue part. Just as always, I'll just rapidly recap. So self-dialogue is when we talk to ourselves in a positive way. In a kind way, in a compassionate way. We talk with our own minds. One could say with our own buddhi, our higher self, higher part of the mind, or aspect of the mind. So, because often we talk with our mind, but not necessarily in a very productive or positive way. But in this practice, we absolutely need to talk with our mind in a positive, friendly way. So there are many, one can talk in many ways, like prayers, gratitude, contemplation on higher truths, like who am I not, self-counseling, like what do I want, or friendliness with mind. So just mind, I have something to talk to you, like a friend. Like you invite a friend to a cup of tea, and then you talk with your friend in around the table. But of course, when you meet with friends, you don't scold one another. That would be a strange friendship. So same thing with the mind. We try to be friendly with the mind, and we just talk with her or with him. And yeah, so let's do that for about 15 minutes. So maybe first just make sure that you're feeling comfortable. If you need to stretch, stretch. And once you are ready, ready. Um, Similarly to meditation, we need to remain in a stable position, in a comfortable position. So try not to fidget too much, not to move as much as possible. Um, Except if you feel pain. If you feel pain, please do move, or just adjust your sitting position just so that the pain is relieved. So yeah, let's do that for about 15 minutes. So this was our self-dialogue part of the practice. Now we will move to the actual meditations, but maybe let's take 5 minutes break. Okay, so let's do the meditation part, and we'll do it like similar to yesterday. So let's do a first one, which is a bit shorter. So first one will be 20 minutes. We'll do first the Kayashteriam, so the really body scan and trying to be as stable as comfortable as possible and not to move, and then just watching the breath. And watching the breath, just watch the sensations of the air coming in and out of the nostrils. It can also be like the hot and cold, like when we breathe in, it will be colder than when we breathe out, so you can focus on that. Um, yeah, and before doing that, it's a good idea to do like counting. Like when we breathe in, it's like in and then out, and then that's one, then two, three, four, five, and then starting at one until one is more stable, like the mind is more calm. And then you can remove the counting and just watch the breath. Of course, you can also watch the breath when you count, but just when you stop it, then you really focus only on that. Yeah, so let's do this. So find a stable and comfortable position that you can stay in for a long time without uh, moving too much. Um, just relax. Imagine that you are a tree, that your branches come out of your legs and go into the center of the earth. Imagine your trunk, your back, everything is like the tree's trunk. Your hands are like branches. And you are very stable. You can stay in that position for a long time without having to move. The only reason really to move is if there's any pain, then just adjust the position. Then we're going to do a short body scan, starting from the right leg. Relax your right foot, your right lower leg, upper leg, right hip. Relax your entire leg, entire right leg. Relax your left foot, left lower leg, upper leg, left hip, and your entire left leg. Relax both legs together. They are very rooted in the earth. Relax your navel, abdomen, torso. Relax your back, lower back, middle back, upper back. Relax your shoulders, right arm, right hand, lower arm, upper arm, the entire arm together. Relax your left arm, left hand, left lower arm, upper arm, and your entire left arm. Relax it. Relax your shoulders, both arms together, your throat and neck. Relax your back of the head, top of the head, forehead, eyebrows, eyes. Relax your ears, nose, nostrils, your mouth, upper lip, lower lip, your tongue. Relax your chin and jaw, your entire face. Relax your entire head. And your entire body. It's very stable, very relaxed. And now move to watching, being aware of the breath. Use counting to start with, and then let go. Always breathe diaphragmatically without tension. And naturally. So now we're going to do the second meditation. It's going to be the same, but just I'm not going to guide anything, so you're going to guide yourself, so to speak. So first, remember we just do the practice of Kayashteriam, so we try to be as still as possible, imagining we're a tree or a mountain or a statue, just that we are very, very still. And then we start watching the breath. And remember that when we have thoughts, thoughts are not enemies. Imagine them like clouds. We cannot stop the clouds, but what we can do is just not. We can observe them and then see how they come, they go. Then the sky comes, then the clouds come again. All we do, all our purpose in the meditation is just to be aware. When thoughts come, then we are just aware of them or not even aware of them. They just come and go, and we do our own stuff, which is watching the breath in the nostrils, or the feeling of cold and hot, or the feeling of breath in the upper lip, wherever one feels the most, and whatever one feels most helpful to be able to concentrate upon as object of concentration. Yes, so let's do that. But first, maybe you can stretch your legs for a minute or two. And let's embed this meditation with kindness and compassion to all, but also including ourselves, of course. We also deserve kindness and happiness. So let's extend that to ourselves as well. I will ring the bell at the end when it's over. So this concludes the morning session. Um, so to recap, what we saw today is the link between the vegan lifestyle and yoga, and especially the yoga yamas, which are the part of the first limb um, of the 8 limbs of Patanjali, which is one of the main practice in yoga, one could say. It's part of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And it is awesome. And yeah, so today I proposed as a challenge to be grateful every time that we eat anything, just to be grateful for it, to say thank you before every meal, every snack that we eat. Because yeah, gratefulness is wonderful. It expands our heart, our mind, and it helps us to remain more modest, more humble. Not thinking that we are alone in this world, but we depends on basically on everyone to have a good life and to live. And yeah, I also proposed, I recommend a wonderful short movie of like 5-10 minutes, but it's really wonderful. It's a comedy, science fiction comedy, which is really well made. It's quite funny. But aliens, vegan aliens, and two guys who are not aliens who who end up on a spaceship, and it's quite funny. Um, yeah, so thank you very much. I wish you a very happy day, very peaceful and kind day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.